If you're looking to grow your business and generate higher converting leads with LinkedIn, then you are at the right video, as I'm gonna take you through the entire process of setting up your LinkedIn ads from start to finish. Also, in this video, I'm gonna share with you a few simple to apply tactics to your LinkedIn campaigns that I've developed over the last few years of running campaigns with budgets in excess of $80,000 a month that have generated an average daily conversion rate of 18%. Welcome back to Market and Hustle. My name is Zaryn Sidhu, and on this channel, we simplify marketing so that you can grow your digital influence and your business. Now, if this is your first time here, you should consider subscribing, as we post weekly videos covering leads and sales generation tactics that will help you drive higher ROI. Now, I am 100% confident that if you truly soak up every bit of detail that I will share with you in this video, you will be able to generate more qualified leads into your funnel and ultimately drive more sales for your business. Now, in return, I only ask that you watch this video in its entirety, as I've seen businesses lose a ton of money just by selecting one wrong setting on the LinkedIn ads platform, and I don't want that to be you. So please make sure to follow every step so that your first campaign is as successful as I know it can be. Also, remember, this is LinkedIn ads, it's not Facebook. It's a different platform. The audiences behave in different ways, so some of the hacks you might have learned on Facebook might not necessarily carry over to this social platform. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
Hey guys, so before we jump into it, you want to make sure that you have two things already completed at this juncture. That number one, you have a LinkedIn company page already set up. In my UI, you can see that I already have one connected here, which is M&H Digital. And then number two, you just want to make sure you have a credit card payment already on file so that you're actually able to build out your campaigns. So what I'm going to do is first give you a tour of the UI, and then what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this brief, the scenario I have for you guys, so you can see how we can actually go about planning a campaign. So when you enter the LinkedIn Campaign Manager UI, this is what it will look like. And your campaign group, essentially, you're already going to have a default one created, but basically it allows you to, create a campaign and put a total budget that you want to spend. You could put a start and an end date, and you also have the option to just run your campaign ongoingly. LinkedIn would love for you to spend all your money there, but since they already create a default campaign group, we can actually just jump into this, and we can actually go to the campaign level where we're going to do all of our targeting and spend most of our time. So I actually have two different campaigns already built, but I want to take you through the process of building a fresh one, just so we can cover some of the initial features, and then we're actually going to go and use some of these. So I'm going to hit create campaign, and they have it nice and neatly broken out between different types of objectives. Depending on what your goal is, it is actually going to be different. So if you're a brand new business and you're looking to generate leads, but you know that no one knows who you really are, you might want to do a brand awareness campaign, which is basically going to optimize towards users who tend to consume content on the platform but might not take an action. I do not recommend for you to use this. I think LinkedIn is a very expensive platform to advertise on compared to Facebook and Instagram, where you see the average CPM, which stands for the price to reach 1,000 users, is about $6 to $9. On LinkedIn, that's around, it could be anywhere from like $30 to $100, depending on the audience. And again, it's a very different audience. You have CEOs, directors, this is the B2B network. So there's a premium price you pay for that premium audience. So I wouldn't really recommend doing anything around awareness. Consideration and conversion is probably where you want to spend the most amount of time. So this is getting people to go to your website, getting people to engage with your post. If you have video content that maybe educates consumers about your brand, your services, this would be one objective that you can use. And of course, their built-in lead generation feature as well. They have more advanced options coming soon that haven't been rolled out globally, such as getting conversions on your website, and if you're an HR recruiter, getting job applications. So for this example, we're actually going to use website visits because my goal is to drive people to my website where they can convert. Now, there's a lot of very similar things you can do here to other platforms. You have location targeting. So I can say I want somebody that lives in the United States. And before I actually start just diving through this wormhole of setting up a campaign, I want to set this up a little bit for you guys so you have some context of what the goal of this campaign is. So here's a brief that really outlines what we're going to be setting up in this example. And the business goal is I, Zaryn Sidhu, am looking to seed mid to senior level marketers into my content funnel so that I can grow my audience. So my strategy is I am going to share a cheat sheet of Facebook ads lead generation cheat sheet that I've been working on for months. It actually started as an ebook and then it just got way too comprehensive. So I decided to scale it back a little bit from the 30 pages and condense it into a cheat sheet of my strategies that I've built over the last 10 years, running over $30 million in Facebook ads campaigns, both on the client side and working at some of the largest agencies in the US, well, actually globally. So my goal here is to generate ebook downloads. And my audience is essentially marketers who are experienced. So they're not entry level, they have some level of sophistication. So managers and directors and above, and their ages 25, actually I'm going to say 54. Males and females in the US. I do have a landing page that I mentioned that I'm going to be driving people to, and just some other details on this brief is I do have an email list, but I don't have the 300 contacts threshold that LinkedIn requires in order for you to actually use that audience. And I only have a budget of $250. I don't want to spend more than $250 because this is a test and I want to see how effective I could be with this product. If it costs me more than $250 to start seeding this audience in, it just might not, the economics might not be there. So my goal is to get at least 10 leads, making it a cost per lead of $25. So now that we have that in mind, we can jump into the targeting. So again, looking to reach people in the United States, and you have the option of targeting people very much just like Facebook that were recently in the location. I want people who actually live in the United States. So I'm going to say permanent location, and then now I'm going to go to my next qualifier. I'm going to leave the language as English. I'm going to say narrow audience. So I want people who probably went to school for this. So I'm going to go to degrees, and I'm going to say bachelor's degree. I'm going to say maybe BBA of Business Administration, Bachelor's of Commerce. I'm trying to qualify my audience. So it's not, I don't want to get just random marketers. I want to get people that, went to school for this, that are serious marketers, that have a career of doing this. Actually, if anybody got a master's, I definitely want to add that in. So master's degree, master's of business administration, very, very relevant. I was actually I did an undergraduate in marketing and management, and they both fall under the business school. So very common. Cool. Maybe someone that has experience with technology. Could be a great marketer. Actually, the marketers of the future are really technologists. So I'm going to narrow further. So far, I have degrees. I want to get some demographic. So ages. I know it's not an entry-level person that just got out of college. So we're going to do 25 to 34 and then 35 to 54. Fun fact. Do you know how LinkedIn figures out your age? Because you actually don't input your age when you sign up for LinkedIn. For whatever reason, they don't ask you this information. They actually look at the year that you graduated high school and college, and they kind of use this information to directionally take a guess. So something you want to keep in mind. It's not like other platforms. Other platforms, people are telling the platform. With LinkedIn, it's kind of guessing a little bit. So something to keep in mind. Job experience. So we want to target job titles. And again, I'm narrowing all of this. So you have to have one of these degrees. You have to be in this age group. And then you have to have one of the following job titles. So I'm going to say marketing manager, marketing director, marketing, not an intern, not a coordinator. So what I'm going to do is I actually already built an audience with all of this information. And just to get ahead of it, so I don't just, so we can use our time most efficiently, I'm actually going to go back to the other campaign I had already pre-built with this audience, and I'm going to take you into that so we can go further and save some time. Now there's two different types of campaigns I created. One is for text ads. These usually come up on the right-hand side of the screen on desktop and tend to be less expensive. And the other one is for sponsored content. That's kind of like a link ad that you would see in the Facebook or Instagram newsfeed. So I'm going to take you into the first one for text ads, and we are going to, as you can see, we already have a target audience in here. So this is using job titles. So we have social media strategist, director of web marketing, digital marketing consultant, marketing manager. So we have some, mid to senior level roles, global brand director. This is basically someone that I think could really benefit from this downloadable, which, by the way, I will make sure to link you guys in the description. I know that this is a video about LinkedIn ads, but my guess is that if you're running LinkedIn ads, at some point you're going to want to run Facebook ads, or you have. So these hacks and insights in this cheat sheet are going to really help you. So make sure to look below for that. Anyways, so on top of the job titles, what I'm also going to layer is member interests. I want to get into people who are actually not only just working in advertising, in marketing, went to school for it, but also on LinkedIn, their interests, what they're engaging with, what they're liking, what they're commenting on is related to marketing. So a few different interests I actually added in here are retargeting, targeted advertising, search engine marketing, performance-based marketing. There's a ton of stuff in here. You could really go deep with this. One thing to keep in mind is the audience size. I want to make sure to have a balance between an audience that's scalable so that I'm not paying insane amount of money to target them, because the smaller the audience gets, the more expensive it gets. So I want to find a balance between the audience size on one hand and also how qualified I'm targeting a user. Because on the other hand, I don't want to just target everyone and have no definitive criteria. So you want to have a good balance. My rule of thumb is I try to keep things about to 200,000 and above, which gives me a good balance, at least when I'm advertising in the US market. If you're advertising in other markets, it could be a little bit larger or a little bit smaller. Maybe you want to, if, for example, in Latin America, it's a lot cheaper to advertise. So I might be willing to go down to $100,000 because even though, 100,000 in the audience size, because even though it's going to cost me more, because it's already cheaper in that market, it kind of balances out. So little fun fact to keep in mind. So I already have my interests in here that I want to layer in, and I've already layered in my degrees, my age range. So now the audience is at a pretty good place. You can continue to either exclude audiences or narrow further. Like I said, I'm at a good point right now with my audience size, so I'm not going to do that. Enable audience expansion. What this is, and it's going to tell you right here, is that if LinkedIn can recognize people that are similar to the audience that you've built, but for some reason, they don't work in the same field, they're not in the same age group, they don't have the same job title, for some reason they don't fit in this criteria, but it thinks it can get them to convert, enabling that allows them to go after that user. I personally prefer to start my campaigns without using that, and later on I like to test that in because sometimes you don't know. They could be going after someone that's 19 years old and doesn't necessarily fit So I'd rather start clean and then later on I run a test to see if there's actually a difference. So a few other things I will mention here before we get into the ad format is that I'm running this campaign for 7 days. Now you might be asking, what's the optimal time frame? It really depends on your budget and what your goals are. I know in 7 days, there's 190,000 people. I can spend my budget. And by the way, I said I had a $250 budget, if you remember. So $250, and I'm splitting that between the two campaigns. So between the text ads and between the sponsored ads, the single image ads that I have in the separate campaign. So I know I can spend that at 7 days. You know, some people like to drag on campaigns for 30 days. It doesn't make sense. Let me give you a little advertising 101. There's a thing called reach and frequency. It's how many people, what percentage of the audience size do I want to reach, and then how many times. Most people, the first time they see your ad, they are not going to take an action. On average, it takes at least 10 exposures, digital exposures, meaning social ads, meaning on the internet, to get someone to go from, I don't know who you are, so I'm unaware, to, I know who you are, I know why you're different, and now I have purchase intent to potentially buy from you. So stretching your ads for 30 days without the right budget doesn't even make sense. So in this case, I'm only doing it 7 days. About 45,000 to 270,000 people are going to see my ads, depending on how many advertisers and how expensive it is. And sorry, I was just checking my battery. And it's going to tell me the click-through rate and how many total clicks. Now, I know that my landing page converts about 75% of the people. What that means is that, let's just do some basic math here. Let's say we are somewhere in the middle between 9 to 53 clicks. Let's say I get 25 times 0.75. I already have 18 leads submitted. My goal was to get 10 leads with $250. So far we're looking pretty good, pretty optimistic. Let's continue. Placement. Do not check this box. The LinkedIn Audience Network is third-party platforms, meaning your ads won't be shown in LinkedIn. It's going to be shown somewhere else. And to give you an idea, Facebook also has this. It's called their Audience Network, and it's third-party apps that they partner with, and your ad can be shown there as well. To give you an idea, let's say you download a picture crop tool. So a free download on the App Store. And have you ever seen an ad that as you're trying to use this free app, it comes up on the screen, takes up the full screen, and you try to close it and the X is so tiny that you end up clicking on the ad by mistake? Super annoying, right? Well, that is an example of an ad being shown on Audience Network. And most people that are on Audience Network are doing something else. They're not looking for your product or service. They're not expecting it. So performance tends to be pretty terrible. So I would recommend not using that. And if you really, really want to use it, maybe in one of your later flights. All right, moving into budget and schedule. The way I got this daily budget was I took my $125 for this campaign and I divided it by 7 days so that I can get as close to as possible to my total goal of $125. Here it says it's going to spend about 110. So I'm just going to push this up to 18 bucks just to see if I can get a little closer. Great. And you'll see that LinkedIn will tell you that I'll actually spend maybe up to 20% higher. So it does fluctuate depending on the day. If it thinks it could get you better performance, it's going to push harder. If it thinks there's a lot of competitors, it's not going to be as aggressive. So just keep that in mind. And that's why it's really good to set your main budget at the campaign group level, that first screen that we walked into. So here you can see the start and end dates. Bid types. This is very important. The CPC bid is what you're willing to pay for, one user to click on your ad. Now the CPM bid is what you're willing to pay for 1,000 people to see your ad. Remember I mentioned earlier that LinkedIn is pretty expensive when it comes to advertising. Facebook, on average, it costs between $6 to $9, not $69, $6 to $9 to get 1,000 people to see your ad. On LinkedIn, it could be anywhere from 25 to 100. So in this case, I'm more interested in driving cost-effective link clicks, because comparable to other platforms like Google or Facebook, I know I could be effective there as well. Maybe not as effective with a B2B audience, but that's something that helps me better compare. So we're going to keep it to CPC bid, and they're going to tell us the recommended bid. I'm not going to pay $8.14 for a user. At $3, I know I'll get enough clicks that the economics of this will make sense, and I'll be able to drive those 10 leads that I want to get. But if you do see that your ads aren't really spending through, you might want to consider optimizing and slowly increasing that bid so that you're finding a good medium between, cost effectiveness and your ads being shown. Now, this last section we are not going to use right now. Conversion tracking is something that you do want to set up, and I will actually be setting up for myself, but not going to be doing it at this point in this video. I just kind of want to continue moving forward, and then we could potentially backtrack to this. So here's what we're going to do. Now that all this is set up, we're just going to hit next, and now we're going to go into building our actual ads. So I have two different text ads that I have here. And if you haven't ever seen a text ad, I actually want to show you real quick what that looks like. They don't always pop up, and sometimes they pop up different ways. But I want to show you how you might see a text ad. Let's see. There you go. So this up here, this is a text ad, and it could show up here as just text, and sometimes it also shows up in this area with a text image. So that is what this is. And these text ads tend to be a lot less expensive than ads that you might see in the feed like this. This is a sponsored content post. This is a lot more expensive. So let's just jump back into this and go through building this ad. So what you're going to want to do is upload your image. I already have my image. This is my first image, and I'm going to be doing an A/B test. I'm going to be testing an ad with my face versus one with the Market and Hustle logo. And I already have my headline here. It's very important when you're doing A/B test for you to only change one variable. Everything else should stay consistent. That way you have a clear, really clear understanding. And I already have my links UTM tagged here, so I'm just gonna copy them. Just gonna do a quick check just to make sure that it's taking me to the right page. And this is the landing page it's gonna land on, by the way, which again, I will link you guys so you can get access to this amazing cheat sheet. So I'm going to toss that in here, and then I'm going to select my company page. Great. So it gives you an example right there what the text ad will look like when it's displayed on desktop on the right-hand column. So it reads, drive 18% better CVR, download the Facebook ad hacks cheat sheet for B2C leads and sales generation. It might be a little wordy, but again, this is the first test, so we'll see how it performs, and we can always optimize later. And now this is how it's going to look at the top of the banner, and then when it's just the actual text, how I showed you in the earlier example. So we are going to hit create, and then we're going to make the second version of this ad. So we're going to hit create new ad. We're going to upload that secondary image, which is the logo of Market and Hustle. And we're going to add that headline in. Grab the ad copy. I hope you guys are excited as I am. I love LinkedIn ads and the power of them. When I used to work in-house for a client, and they ran a lot of ads in Latin America, and actually LinkedIn was our top performing in terms of conversion rate platform They were definitely more expensive. Our leads were more expensive, but the intent was just so much higher. Because if you think about it, people are coming to this platform and they're not standing in line at Starbucks just mindlessly scrolling. It's usually business professionals and aspiring entrepreneurs. So it's a different focus. So that one is done. So now we have our 2 ads set up here. Everything looks good. So we are going to go ahead and hit launch campaign. Now this campaign isn't launching today. It's launching in a few days. Actually, it is launching next week. Just go back and just double check. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the second ad, which is the sponsored content. And same deal here, 2 different versions of the creative. I know this might be a little hard to see, so so one version is going to read Facebook ads cheat sheet, and then the CTA button is going to read download, and then the other version, which I believe will perform better, is going to say Facebook advanced ad hacks download free cheat sheet. I know it sounds weird when you say it like that, but trust me, it'll all make sense. Cool. So now we're going to jump into that second campaign. And we already have the audience built, so we don't have to spend time doing that. It's optimized for website visits. We have all of this all set up. So I'm just going to skip to the ad format. It's already selected. And I'm just going to tweak this up to 19 bucks so that, oh, not 19 bucks. Something to keep in mind too is that you're actually going to pay more to show your ads on the newsfeed. It is going to be more expensive, but you're likely to see a higher click-through rate. I don't know if you remember, but the click-through rate in the other screen for the text ads was way lower. So you pay more, but you get a better click-through rate. So, and as you notice, my actual bid was $3 for the text ads. I'm bidding almost double, $5.75 for the sponsored content. LinkedIn's telling me I should bid $10.83. Totally not going to do that. So it definitely is more expensive. But again, if you can get the right conversions, that is all that matters. Okie dokie. So I can't believe I just said okie dokie. So I'm going to grab my creative and I'm just going to toss it in here, and I'm just going to say version _1 CTA test, or I'll say version. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to choose my image. I know I'm not doing everything in order. Bear with me. It's been a long Sunday. Come on. You know what? Meanwhile, I'll go grabbing the ad copy. So we're going to put that into here where it says introductory text. I'm going to grab my UTM link. So this is the first one. I'm just going to put it in right here and just test it. And if you're not sure what a UTM link, it basically adds additional parameters so that you can go into Google Analytics and see where the user came from. So I can see it was from LinkedIn, paid social, it says campaign free offer, cheat sheet, and that helps me optimize and should help you as well optimize your campaigns in the future. Oh. So LinkedIn's UI is relatively newer. It's not as robust as Facebook. It just recently started getting better. They actually did hire some people that used to work for Facebook to work on the ads platform. But in the last year, let me tell you, it has made leaps and bounds. I mean, it was really bad. So it's really good to see that the platform is getting better. One thing you'll notice in this ad is that there's a CTA button here. Now, if you ever ran ads on Facebook and Instagram, they actually have the CTA button built into the screen right here. Oh, you could do a learn more, shop now. LinkedIn does not have that for whatever reason, so it's a best practice to always put a CTA within the actual creative itself. I like to go the extra mile and also call it out in the headline. All right, this ad is looking pretty good. I'm about to save it. So as you notice, we have a Facebook logo to help recognition. I have my marketing hustle branding here, which is a best practice. And I have a strong headline saying drive 18% higher converting leads on Facebook. And I am going to create that. And now I'm just going to get ready for the second one. Same thing here. I just want a real quick test. Cool. Looks like it's working. So I'm going to create a new ad. I'm going to call this version_2. And we're going to do CTA test. Put my link in here. LinkedIn is going to grab the image from the landing page, but I want to change it because this one is better. And because I'm doing a CTA test. And again, I know this is a LinkedIn ads video, but I will share with you guys the link to this advanced ad hacks. Something, like I said, I'm working on for like 30 days. I literally had about 30 pages in this ebook, and then I was just like, it's just becoming a monster. And if I give every piece of information I have out for free, I'm never going to make any money. And this channel is very expensive to maintain, so I would like to one day make some money. Okay. Oops, but this description we're not using. Ooh, fun fact here. This description is, as you notice, when I'm typing something in, you don't actually see it. It doesn't show up for everybody. It's very weird. LinkedIn actually tells you your ad description provides more info to people who see your ad, and it will not be visible in most scenarios. Where it is visible is in Audience Network. We're not using Audience Network. So relax, LinkedIn, because we're not falling for this shit. True story. I once ran a campaign for an unnamed telco company, and against my recommendation, they decided they want to use Audience Network, and in 1 week, they lost over $80,000 in ads that were being served in Ads Network because people were clicking it by mistake, and they were just not converting. So if you think I'm a little adamant about this, that is the background. Okay, so my second ad is done. I think this is actually going to be my true performer. If you notice, the word free is bolded, and it says free cheat sheet, so you know what you're getting. So if you want to look at it in mobile, this is what it'll look like in mobile. I don't know why it's showing up blue. That's very weird. It's very good to check your ads once you create them, so weird shit doesn't happen like that. Okay, and let's see, preview. Beautiful. Ooh, I don't really like that it's showing that. Fortunately, it doesn't let us edit that as of now. Maybe it will in the future. Okay, there you go. It's not looking weird. It's just, all right, let me make sure it's leading to the right place. So this is actually my landing page, and as it reads, you'll see it says, you see the logo prominently placed. It says generate 18% higher converting leads, get our advanced Facebook. Okay, I don't have to read everything off the screen for you, but something very, very important is that your branding and your messaging on your ad should very well match what people land on in the cheat sheet. So if you notice, same background, right? Same color. You see the logo, it matches. I'm saying cheat sheet, download the cheat sheet. So that consistency is super, super important to really get and generate high converting campaigns. So at this point, I'm just going to hit the last switch and hit launch campaign. And that is where we're at. Now, I want to take the last few minutes and walk you guys through a few other things within the actual UI so that you feel more familiar with this. But at this point, you should have a very, very good idea of how to set up your LinkedIn ads for success. But I want to take you into some of the other things that are going to really lend themselves to help your campaigns perform. So one of the things we talked about was the insight tag. So the insight tag is this little piece of code that gets put onto your website so that you can see what is turning into leads and optimize. So the way you could set up the tag is that if you're using Google Tag Manager, it's actually pretty easy. You would just go into Tag Manager and there's a pre-selected LinkedIn function. You can actually just follow the instructions. You can click here to see the instructions, and then you can plug in this partner ID. Now, once it starts receiving signals, it's going to need about, I believe, 300 audience threshold for you to get audience insights. So what's going to happen is here you're going to be able to see all the people that have LinkedIn profiles that went to your website. You're going to be able to see what kind of jobs they have, what kind of industries they're in, a lot of rich information that you can use to inform your ads in the future. So very, very important. You could also create block lists here. So if you don't want your ads showing up on, you can actually download a template here. Oh, that's really nice too. So if you don't want your ads, let's say you were using Audience Network and you don't want your ads showing up on some random app that has perverts or whatever, maybe racist content showing up, you have block lists that you can use, but again, don't use Audience Network. It's just not worth it. You have your lead gen forms here. So when you build out your forms, if you're doing any lead generation campaigns and you're trying to get the information from the users on the actual platform without them leaving. And then you have your matched audiences. So your matched audiences is basically your lookalikes. So you can create this from an email list. You can create this from website activity as well. Right now, I don't have anything built in here. I've been a lot of work to do with this newly created LinkedIn ad account. But this is a super important place because you're going to have access to not just your uploaded CRM lists, your website retargeting audiences, which are going to be super crucial for you later on. And especially because 98% of the people that go to your website the first time aren't going to necessarily take an action. So you want to be able to keep that communication going. Also, on LinkedIn, you can use third-party audiences. If you're not familiar with this, this is a very advanced way to target. And essentially what you could do is you could use data from providers such as Axiom or Experian, so you can get more targeted. So you can use household income. You know, maybe you're looking to get people who make above $250,000 a year. Those are the kinds of things that third-party audiences help you get one step closer to, as well as getting audiences based off of offline purchase transactions. So some of the things that we do, for example, on Facebook, another platform, but we're able to target people that have purchased within a store using their Visa credit card because there's a Oracle Data Cloud has a, oh, hold on a second.
This is a reminder.
That's my Alexa. Alexa, turn off. Okay, sorry about that. So on Facebook, we can use third-party audiences as well. Super effective. I'm going to make another video completely on that. We can dive into it. But this is where you're going to want to see all of those things, your account assets, conversions. This is something we talked about. So once you have your campaign, set up before it launches, you basically want to put in the page of where your conversions are happening so that you can tie things back. So you can put in your URL. Let's say, for example, you have a landing page, and then once someone submits, there's a confirmation page that pops up. So here you can say basically, I want you to track when someone lands on a thank you page. I want you to associate it to this campaign. And then I want you to say that this lead is worth $200 to me, or whatever it is. And then you could say it's a lead, or it's someone signing up for your service, or downloading something. You can name it whatever you want. It's not going to impact the optimization, but it's going to let you record what's happening on your website, so you could tie it back to your campaigns. Usually a 30-day click, 1-day view is the standard way to do it. So someone that clicked on your ad within 30 days or saw your ad within 1 day and then took the action, maybe they went directly to the website. So that is that. And in another video, we'll get deeper into that. For now, that is all I have for you guys. Thanks so much for staying so long. I know this is longer than most of the videos I typically do. But I'm going to start doing a lot more videos on LinkedIn. There's over 500 million monthly active users. It is the professionals network. It's the place you go for B2B lead generation at scale. I'm talking about access to CEOs, directors, very, very influential people, decision makers that can help really unlock a lot of business growth. If you're a consultant, if you're an agency, if you're a small business. So definitely a strong platform, and like I said, I'm going to continue to do these videos. So if you like this, make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody that's in your industry, share it on LinkedIn, hell, add me on LinkedIn, and again, make sure to check out that downloadable that I'm going to link to you guys in this video. As always, until the next video, this is Marketing Hustle, where we simplify marketing so that you can grow your digital influence and your business. Peace.